Shalom, I'm Tamara Zeev, and today I'm joined by the Jerusalem Post's military affairs reporter Yaakov Lapin to discuss the current wave of terrorism that Israel is dealing with. Yaakov,
Yep.
do you think that Israel is doing something wrong in the way that it's dealing with the situation?
I think that until now, all of these steps that have been taken by the government have been about responding to the incidents, and I think that the time has arrived, in my opinion, to start looking at more preventative measures because flooding Jerusalem with security forces is important, but it's not going to stop. If there's free access, if we look at where most of these attackers are coming from, they're coming from the Palestinian neighborhoods of East Jerusalem. This is the source of the majority of the attacks. Most of them are not coming from the West Bank, where there are good security checks, and even though 100,000 Palestinians come to work in Israel every day, um, the attackers are not coming from there, and there have been a few cases of Israeli Arab attackers, which is disturbing, but the vast majority are coming from East Jerusalem, Palestinian neighborhoods. So I don't think there's any alternative right now than drastically increasing the presence of border police and roadblocks around those neighborhoods, and to make a partial closure, not a full closure, but some sort of significant restriction on the freedom of movement for a limited period of time until this stops, because it's clear that some of these attacks are organized, some of them are lone wolf, but they're originating from the same area, and just to turn a blind eye and hope that it goes away, that's not going to work.
Do you think that incitement plays a big role in what we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks?
Absolutely, I think incitement is the critical thing going forward here. There's a bunch of other issues that are forming the background to this, but incitement, this false narrative that Israel is attacking Al-Aqsa, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, these lies are being peddled on a daily basis, and alongside these lies, there is a call for action. There is an attempt by the Islamic movement, by Hamas in Gaza, to mobilize Palestinian civilians because they know that the intelligence services here in Israel it's impossible to prevent that kind of attack. Two or three individuals or one individual who decides to spontaneously carry out an attack, there's no way to prevent that. There's no way of knowing that in advance. They leave no traces behind, any communications for intelligence to follow up on. So this is the soft underbelly of Israel, and they have found this strategy to try and mobilize civilians to do this. A lot of this is also coming from the Palestinian street itself. The street is leading a lot of these things, but it's responding to incitement, and it's responding to a lot of peripheral issues that are also acting as sort of forces that ignite the situation instead of calming it down.
So, what can Israel do to tackle this aspect of it alongside, security measures on the ground? It also
Yeah.
obviously has to deal with the root of the problem.
First of all, I think it's important to say there are no magical, quick fix solutions to this. I think we're going to have to accept the fact that this is going to be plaguing, this kind of terrorism is going to be plaguing us for a lengthy period of time. There's no quick fixes. Having said that, I would place a partial closure around the Palestinian neighborhoods of East Jerusalem to stop this daily flow, this daily attempt to massacre Israeli civilians. It's a drastic step, but I don't see any alternative, at least as a short-term measure. And I would also look at improving conditions in East Jerusalem at the same time, simultaneously. Improving conditions there, improving the employment situation there, and trying to give the society there a higher stake and something more to lose. But that's a very long-term process. That's not something that can happen overnight. And it's not something that will be felt in days or weeks or even months. That's something that's much more long-term and strategic, and I don't think there's any guarantee that that would solve the problem. It would just decrease the risk. So there are immediate steps that I would look at and long-term steps.